Welcome to this week's TDD Weekly Report for the week ending March 15th. First up, this was sent to me by Jose Angel, and this is bicycle related. I asked people to send me in bicycle related stuff, and I've gotten pretty good amount of content so far. This one's called Revo Lights. It's rather expensive, really. You can go all the way up to like $500 with these kind of things, but the particular one that Jose sent in was a $69 setup where it's got an arc set of lights. I'll put the pictures up here so you can see what it looks like, and it's an arc set of lights that make you a little bit more visible from behind. It's also a Kickstarter project, I believe, and it's still, even at $69, I would call it a little bit more expensive, but it really does cover a lot of area because it does kind of arc where your rear fender is. And you can either buy it as already set up, or you can buy it as a kit to install on a fender yourself. And but the thing I'm thinking about it too is the fact that I think the extra cost really of having brake lights in it really isn't that necessary, because the speed difference between a car and a bicycle is so huge anyway. I think really what they're looking for really is just something to call attention to you more than having actual functioning brake lights. I don't think really that adds to the safety as much as just some kind of a pattern of lights. I don't know if you remember, maybe some of you are too young to remember, but I remember when they first put the reflectors on the spokes, and you could see these twirling reflections back at you from so far away. I mean, it really brought your attention to the fact there was bicycles out there at nighttime, whereas before they had these reflectors on the spokes, you just you got surprised when you got too close to them. So I'm thinking really a lot of us geeks especially would have the talent to just take a set of maybe a dozen LED lights really and just put them on the rear fender, have them maybe either flash slowly or create some kind of a pattern or something like that, just to call attention. I mean, it's the main thing is just seeing the lights. So if you get a chance, check this out. This is called Revo Lights. All of the links will be down in the description below, as always. And next up, this is from news24.com. Power lines may be actually frightening animals, but not for the reasons that you think. A lot of mammals can see into the ultraviolet wavelengths that we can't see into. I guess humans and monkeys are the mammals that cannot see into the UV spectrum at all, but a lot of other mammals can actually see into the UV spectrum. And according to this study, this international team, and I guess this is out of Cape Town, South Africa, scientists have discovered there is a huge possibility that animals could be terrified of power cables due to the fact that they give off UV flashes that are unseen by the human eye. In some cases it may be, and they actually speculated about this before they investigated the UV part of it, it may be just that the power lines, that they cleared forest areas to put in the power lines, but what gave them a clue that there was something else going on is up in the Arctic tundra, where there isn't really much forest. The reindeers were still staying up to like 2 miles away from these things, and they were kind of wondering why these reindeer just did not want to get close to the power lines. And because of the fact these UV light flashes frighten them, and they're saying the animals probably couldn't get used to the flashes too because they come at random times. It's not like a set pattern. Usually you can get animals used to new things in the environment if there's some kind of pattern to it, and then they realize there's no type of danger to be frightened of. But because of the fact these flashes just happen at certain random times, it kind of keeps these animals wary of getting anywhere near these. So they're wondering if it's going to disrupt some kind of migration patterns or something like that. So this is just a short one-page article, so if you get a chance to check this out too. And back to the bicycle craze, I want to give you guys a little look at a certain type of bicycle here. Take a look at it and check this out. Look at the modern, it's a modern diamond frame type of design. Got the really nice slick racing looking wheels. Got a nice hand forged crank. It has the clips to put your shoes into. 1-speed with coaster brake. So, you know, 1-speeds are kind of back in style now. It does have the retro handlebars, though. You notice the nice retro handlebars, but I really like that adjustable seat tube. You notice how it comes out and then angles over at a little bit more than a 90 degree, or a little bit more than a 90 degree angle, so you can slide the seat back and forth, and it's got that nice racing style saddle there. When would you think that that bike probably would have been put together? Well, actually, it's an 1895 bike by the Wright brothers. Orville and Wilbur Wright actually assembled that bike. they weren't so much custom designers of bike as so much as putting parts together. The frame company that provided the frame for the Orville and Wilbur was the Pope Frame Company, and they bought various parts in different places. Even the nameplate that went on the bikes was farmed out to another place to make. But one thing Orville did is he actually himself, he created the oil-filled hub. Before that, I guess you'd have to just keep adding oil to the hub, or it would leak out or whatever like that. But I guess that's the one design that they added to bicycles before they got into flying and became famous for that, is Orville and the oil-retaining wheel hub. And this is kind of neat to say, by 1895 or so, they were earning $2,000 to $3,000 a year in gross sales from the bicycle business, a respectable income for the times. Yeah, that kind of tells you how prices have changed, hasn't it? But I just wanted to show you this because I think it's kind of amazing, and my friend Tim was the one that sent me this article about the Wright brothers and their different bikes, and I'll put the other link to the other article too. Is it shows another bicycle by the Wright brothers, which has the dip-down handlebars for racing. But yeah, it just kind of shows you that we think bicycle design has come a long, long ways. And I will say in materials, sure, they've got bikes that look a lot like this bike too, that probably weigh about only maybe a quarter of the weight that this bike is. But designs haven't really changed all that much, and it's kind of cool in a way that even back then they got most of what current bicycle technology is about. They got it right. And this next one is from my friend Navy Thomas. He sent me this actually just one night ago, and it's an hour-and-a-half documentary about the two newest stealth type of battleships. One's called the USS Freedom, and the other's called the USS Independence. The nice thing about this hour-and-a-half documentary is it's not just all go raw military, and stuff like that. It actually tells you the testing process, and they don't pull any punches with it too. I mean, everything. I mean, at least it looks like that everything that could go wrong does go wrong, and they show you pretty much all of it. I mean, the one part where the ship is the platform for this robotic type of mine sweeper hunter thing that's supposed to be basically what the ship is actually designed around, just how much of a failure this thing was. And I went back and looked at some documentation, and supposedly before they even brought it aboard this ship to actually try it out to do the mine hunting, this thing had 850 hours of reliability testing. But when you see the kind of failure this thing has, I mean, even just before it even gets into the water and they try to launch it and everything like that, even the launching system just is not, you could tell it just was not up to snuff. But I'll put down the link to the hour-and-a-half documentary if you want to see it, and if you're into gadgets and technology and military, I guarantee you will like this documentary. But I will also put up one of the papers that I saw from Lockheed Martin, where it talks about the reliability of the engines and stuff like that. Evidently they've been having a lot of problems with the diesel engines that power these type of new stealth ships, and one of them's had to be replaced several times already. And engine failure also left, I think it was the USS Freedom that left it adrift about 1 year ago in March. It was in the middle of the ocean, had an engine failure, and it was just left adrift for a while. So yeah, still in the testing phase, and that's kind of unusual too, because these ships, at least one of them I think was built in 2006, so they have been around for a while, but I guess still not totally finished with testing and ready to go into battle operations. And this next one was sent by my friend Tamas. Harley in Taiwan Tamas is also his channel name. And this is an invisible door. I think this is something that's quite a few years old, and obviously hasn't really gone into production, but I think it's really cool. Take a look at this one video where you'll see people pulling up, and what it does is this door basically rotates down into the bottom of the chassis of the car. Some people did bring up in the comments, and I agree too, that I'm kind of hopeful that if they ever would in the future come up with this design, as cool as it is, and there's a lot of advantages to it, I would hope that without electric power you could at least pull a lever or something and have the doors go down so that you could get out of the car in an accident or something like that. Although I guess if you were hit from the side, you wouldn't really be able to retract the door that easily anyway, because it would be all mangled. Maybe you could on the other side. But other than that, it is kind of a cool design. I don't really know exactly why they never put it into any kind of a production vehicle. They say in these vehicles it's a modification to a standard chassis of the type of car that they're showing this off in. But it's just kind of a cool gadgety thing, and you kind of wonder all the different ways that they've done car doors. They've done regular doors, suicide doors, they've done gull wing doors, and this is the first time for me I've actually seen a door that retracts down into the bottom of a car. And last up, I don't know if a lot of you guys like me still use Google as your primary search engine. Well, more and more I've gone for searches and just not really been satisfied with the Google results anymore. In fact, in a few cases they've just totally not even given me in the first page anything I was looking for. So what I've been doing is switching over to Bing, and I would say probably all but one time I think Bing ended up being, for those particular searches, better than Google. Well, if you want something that is combined, they make something called Bing versus Google.com, and it's spelled Bing, and then there's a dash, and then the VS, and then another dash in Google. So it's Bing-VS-Google.com, and I'll put a link to that too. That'll be the last link down at the bottom in the descriptions. But you put in your search bar, and it gives you, on the left side, it gives you Google, or I think it's on the left side Bing, and the right side Google. Either one, it's both of them together side by side, so you get the results from both search engines. So if you want to try them together, I've been trying it out, and I've gotten pretty good results that way. So this is something kind of similar to that other search engine they had. I think it was called Yahoogle, where it was Yahoo and Google side by side. So if you get a chance, check that out. So that's about it for this week. Thank you guys for sending in all the links. Please keep on doing it. Our page on Facebook, like our page on Facebook, join our face on Facebook, the Dumpster Divers, and we're up to 114 members and still growing. So thank you, everybody. Take care, everybody. I will catch you next week.